Welcome to another very special episode of Pop Cultured. We are Dex's Cosplay and Captain Tempest, but we're also joined by our good friend Luke, aka I Like That Wookie, who's a stage host and creator. Luke, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good, man. How about you?
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. It's
Uh,
cold, as is December's way. Hope everyone at home is staying warm, but it's cold here.
I mean, it's got to be done. Cover your ears, but it's Christmas. Yeah, there you go.
It's looming. It's coming,
It's
right?
coming imminently. I'm
Yeah.
staring at my tree right now, and I have very ambient lighting around me. It's very cozy. I like Christmas because it's cozy, you know.
Yeah,
But we're not here to talk about Christmas, although that is a good episode. Luke has joined us because obviously MCM Birmingham was this past, well, at the time of recording this past weekend, a week ago. It started on the Friday. But first, we got a bit of news, don't we, Troy? Some interesting things that have just been revealed regarding,
Today,
yeah, today, literally.
so we finally know who has bought Warner Brothers, and it's Netflix. So what I'm
Yeah.
going to do is I'm going to shut up right now because I know I'm going to rant in a few minutes' time. So I'm going to let you two tell me what your thoughts are, and then I will do my rant and all the other stuff that I've read up on
Okay.
for the last 3 hours.
Well, God, you've done so much research. I've just stewed in my thoughts. Like, Luke, I'll let you go first. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this Netflix WB merger.
I think it's got to be considered a bad thing. I don't want to be negative, but what I don't understand, right, is Warner Brothers have been like hitting out the park, what, 4 or 5 years? It's a really interesting time to sell. If you kind of got hit after hit, I'm thinking going back to like Barbie and stuff like that, and now's the time to sell. I'd be really interested about their motivation, to be honest.
Fair point. I don't know. Like, it must be, well, I'm assuming it's because of some sort of financial trouble, as is usually the way. Like, maybe they have excess debts and they just needed someone to buy them to clear it out. I don't really know. I haven't looked into the corporate side of this reasoning,
But
but
does
yeah.
it mean we're going to get to see some of those Warner Brothers films that they sort of zeted off? Or
Now there's a plus. That's a really good point. There's a plus. I would not mind that, to be fair.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, the only bit of news I've really read around this, and it was only headlines, and I didn't skim the actual articles, but the headlines were saying that Netflix plans on still having, obviously, WB films with a theatrical release, but a very limited run. Well, not a very limited run. It's not quite what they said. I'm being disingenuous. It's was maybe a shorter run than perhaps one might expect.
like
And
to
I,
streaming quicker, basically.
yeah, probably just enough to get it like into the awards cycle, as Troy and I have talked about before. But I don't know, like from my point of view, as long as they creatively let WB and the people in charge of certain projects at WB, well, we're thinking of a very big one, obviously James Gunn. Troy repping the Christmas sweater of the 2025 Superman film, of course. As long as they let creatives do their thing and just give them the funding for it, I kind of don't mind it. I don't know how, and this is my ignorance showing, I don't know how much previous Netflix purchases have, they've like put their stamp and their claws into other projects. They seem to cancel things that don't work on Netflix, though. Or are just all, just received very badly. I'm thinking of Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, for example. I don't know if that's a bad thing, Maybe they should
I
just
also
let,
wonder, dude, if they're going to start sneaking some of their films that previously were only sort of Netflix releases and they get the occasional release in cinema so they could qualify for rewards. If suddenly they'll be under a sort of a joint banner, Warner Brothers and Netflix, just for ease of nominations and stuff like that.
that'd be interesting. Like, yeah, sitting in a cinema and seeing credits come up for a film, and you see the WB logo followed by the Netflix to doom would
Right?
be very interesting. Troy has thoughts. I can tell his face. He
I'm
has
sat.
thoughts.
I'm
Right.
ready for them.
So let's start this with saying I'm going to talk about the DC side.
Of
That's what
course,
I'm here to talk about.
of course.
So my thoughts instant this morning were, what is going to happen with this? And the first thing I saw was all the Snyder fans came back running, like literally were like, and I'm, as we've discussed before, I enjoyed some of the Snyder stuff. I'm not just sat here being like, oh, I'm just this. I am a Superman fan in general and love it. The Snyder fans are the reason I get put off by it. Now I just want to read you a comment someone decided to write to me earlier, if I can find this comment, because it was kind of mad. So I put this on Netflix. I just put, don't mess up DC. it's just getting going.
Hmm.
That is all I put. A
Fair.
comment that I got back from someone. If you think DC was getting going under James Gunn, you're part of the problem. That childish, whiny Superman of a movie was an absolute joke. Literally a joke to every line. Go back to your colouring books if you want to read something happy. It's time for the men to have their fun. Restore the
God.
Snyderverse.
To
Jeez.
be fair, I was
This
really
then went
angry
on.
when I left that comment. You know, I had to calm myself down.
It's good to
Yeah.
apologize for it now, at least.
I then just decided to jab back a little bit. And I just put, tell me you've never read a comic book without telling me you've never read a comic book.
Nice. Solid.
Which then someone else started helping me out. I put one more comment later, just put in, he put something else about it. And I just put, literally, tell me again, you've never read a comic book. The two of them then decided to start arguing for 3 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Oy,
So,
Wow.
that's how
strong
this started.
feelings.
Now, on to the actual news. So obviously I was a bit like, oh, are they actually going to do this? Because Snyder had a bit of sway with Netflix. However, it turns out that Netflix actually cancelled Rebel Moon. They cancelled Snyder's animated series recently, and they also cancelled Army of the Dead. So they've cancelled 3 projects by the guy within a year. So it's not going that well, let's just say. They also have now put out, when reading stuff, a list of all the things that came up in the discussion interview. The top 2 projects of the most popular things were Harry Potter and Superman
Mm.
2025 as the most popular franchises that they had. The Superman was an integral part in why Netflix wanted Warner Brothers.
Interesting.
So why change it
So
if
it's
they got the best part?
Exactly.
Yeah, literally. So why change it? It also is surprising to me that James Gunn hasn't just come out straight away and put something up. So that is also, to me, a little bit like, okay, I don't think it's going to happen like everyone, all these Snyder fans think.
Hmm.
That they are just going to restore it. We've had this discussion before that we don't think the actors will return as well. There is also something else that has literally just come out. When was this posted? Like 20 minutes ago. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I don't know how right the site is. I've used them before on here, that they've been quite, what's the word? They've been right on stuff. I'm trying to think of the word in. But anyway, you get what I mean, that they are
Yeah.
quite reliable. A reliable source. There
Sure.
we go.
Yeah, yeah.
I got there in the end. So, in terms of the theatrical releases, the IMAX CEO, Richard Gelfand, reveals that Warner Brothers signed a contract which guarantees theatrical releases up until the year 2029. So all the Warner Brothers properties that are going to obviously then go to Netflix have to go to cinemas, and that's part of the signed thing, that they are not allowed to just not release them. Now, for me, actually, that could be a good thing, because if you release them in cinemas in that time period and they get to the end of 2029, but they're like, actually, that did really well in cinemas, why don't we just carry on doing that? A good example someone said earlier was F1. F1 was an Apple TV production, which they released in cinemas
Oh,
and on streaming, and it earned 690 million in
that's
cinemas.
crazy. Okay, wow.
So it works. Actually looking at it, this can work. Like this morning, I woke up like, oh my god, what is happening? Why? Like just panicking. Reading into it, there are still things that we don't know. This doesn't actually finalize until I think it's 16 months time. So
Okay.
that doesn't actually come into play until 16 months time. So like the likes of Supergirl, the first series of Harry Potter on HBO, some of the Game of Thrones projects are not going to be involved in this at all. So it's not like Supergirl comes out next year and goes straight to streaming. It is a theatrical full run.
What happens to all that HBO stuff? Does that go off of HBO Max and then go on Netflix, or is that HBO
So
Max now Netflix?
yeah, so that's another thing I've read. So it sounds like they are not going to do it as one streaming platform. You're going to have Netflix and HBO.
Right.
It's
Oh, I
still
see.
there's going to be the odd thing that sometimes crosses over. Now, the odd thing I got is potentially for us in the UK, because we don't get HBO.
Yeah, this is Sky
So,
Atlantic or whatever.
so
That's
that's
cool.
another deal again. They've not really gone into that. David Zaslav, who is the head of Warner Brothers and like the owner at the minute, is still staying. he's not going. He's going to be the head of Warner Brothers Films still. So although he's not like the chairman or anything, he's still keeping a position. I mean, there's so much more to come out of this. Like, we don't know everything at all. This will be an evolving situation.
Hmm.
There's quite a lot of companies are still trying to take it to court to push it back to not allow it to go through. Paramount don't want it to go through. We had this discussion the other day that Paramount are actually part of the close to the Trump administration.
Hmm.
So again, I don't know everything, but is this slightly a bit of a lesser of two evils? And actually, isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things when you start looking at stuff? Because stuff can evolve, stuff can change, and everything.
Appreciate the
I don't think
optimism.
it's as bad as I
Appreciate the
thought.
optimism. Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it could have been worse. Paramount could have had them. And then,
Mm-hmm.
yes, we could have had Trump Superman. I mean, Trump has clearly tried to,
God.
has like forced people to make Rush Hour 4. And if this is the, like, that is thus far, in my opinion, the best thing that that guy has done since being in
I
the
knew that.
office.
I did think that of you and Hugo the other day. I was like, are they going to change their minds on this guy because of Rush Hour 4?
Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, I guess we could have had it worse. And hey, it's sad that we're at the point where we have to choose between the lesser of two evils. But presented with that choice, always pick the lesser of two evils. Like one is obviously more evil, so I'm happy we got the less evil one, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, I appreciate the optimism definitely because my mind immediately just went to like, oh no, they've got a massive monopoly. They're going to change how films are coming out. But yeah, listening to what Troy says, it makes me feel a little bit more balanced out about it.
Makes sense. I mean, if they're making money, if Superman made money, which it did, if all of the WB franchises and IPs are making money, I think Luke, you quite rightly said it earlier. Why would they change it if it's making money? So, yeah. Well,
Yeah. I mean,
Interesting times.
yes.
it's the way the film industry's going, isn't it? Monopoly. I mean, look at Disney. Disney are
Mm.
huge. Like they own everything that Netflix don't. It just seems that way that we're gonna end up with independent, odd films, and then stuff like from Disney and now Netflix, Warner Brothers. I don't know if it's going to be Warner Brothers Netflix or it's going to be two separate things exactly. We don't. Again, it's another thing we don't know. I am trying to look on the positives. The theatrical thing is still a bit worrying because there is that thing of the head of Netflix has also said they will do theatrical releases. They will be shortened time periods. Which for me, it's more worrying for not me as a consumer. It's more worrying for the film theaters and their
Mm-hmm.
industry.
Yeah.
Because for me, it won't change. I really want to watch it on a big screen. I wouldn't have wanted to watch Superman for the first time, even on like my 4K TV. I wanted it on the biggest screen possible, IMAX, full sound, everything. But yeah, it's the people that run the theaters, it's the jobs, and it's more the independent theaters because I know the head marketing guy at Cineworld in Sheffield, and we spoke about this sort of thing the other week, and he was like, "It's not really us that need to worry because being the biggest chain in the UK, and they're the second, I think the second biggest Cineworld in the UK." He's like, "We're probably going nowhere. It's like we are settled. We're earning a profit, even when it was." Bad times. We still earn a profit because of the food and everything. People come in, they're like, "Well, I need some popcorn and stuff like that." But he's a big film buff, and he's like, it's the independent, smaller cinemas. So down the road from us, we've got one called the Savoy, which have got like 5 cinemas across the UK, and they're only really small. It's going to be them sort of places that are going to really struggle from this if it goes ahead like that.
Who
Mm.
was it last week that was getting uppity about Netflix films getting awards? They were like, even if they're in cinemas for a short while, they shouldn't be. It was one of the big directors. I can't remember who. It wasn't Scorsese this time, I don't think. Might have been a Tarantino,
This
maybe.
rings a bell, yes. I remember
Mm.
hearing, but I can't remember who said it. Yeah, but
It might be him because he said a lot lately.
He has, isn't he?
yes, sometimes he
Hey,
needs to
Paul
shut
Dano.
up. But yeah,
Yeah,
I always say he's a pizza cutter, man. He's all edge. He ain't got nothing but edge. That's it.
I like that.
that's hilarious. I mean, recently some other comments have resurfaced from Quentin Tarantino that I won't get into here because they're exceedingly unpleasant, but he is
Yeah.
not a nice man. Yes, as much as I enjoy his films, sadly. Regarding the cinemas thing, though, and in general, kind of like movie corporations becoming monopolies now. One, in a capitalistic society, I don't think monopolies are ever good, especially when it comes to creative endeavors, like any form of art, movies included, TV included. Limiting competition means that, as you say, not just the little cinemas, but also like smaller filmmakers will start to stand less of a chance. Now, I don't know if this is a good parallel necessarily, But one thing I'm noticing in the video game industry is this shift away from those massive AAA studios like Ubisoft and EA into smaller independent studios who are making things for the love of making them and just out of the sheer like passion of their hearts. Claire Obscure Expedition 33, winning every
Literally.
award under the sun, was made
Crazy.
by a very small team of people who had a really amazing idea with a great game that they wanted to make, regardless of shareholders and like because they have none. They don't have this board that they're like beholden to being like, well, this isn't gonna, where's the microtransactions? How are we gonna get more people to pay for this more than once? They just
Yeah.
wanted to make something really good and they did, and I'm hoping that somehow, I don't know how, but in the midst of all these movie corporation monopolies, that smaller independent filmmakers will maybe band together and like collectively do something. I don't know what, but something. Granted, the way we consume video games is different. It is all digital. It is all just from a screen at home. We don't have to go to a place like, I mean, the arcades died. Maybe it's a different parallel, but that's what I'm hoping for anyway.
But they say that necessity is the mother of invention, mate. So, if people get sick of it, people find a way, right?
Very true. Very true. Yeah, maybe it changes
Yeah.
how we. God, maybe it changes the movie landscape in general. Wow. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of
Yeah.
myself, but yes.
Yeah. This obviously, as we'll do more on it, Dex, as it comes out, because it's a big thing to us, because it's a lot of franchises we love and stuff like that. They have
Hmm.
so many franchises when you actually look at what they own now.
It's true.
Ridiculous.
And
Except Harry
it is
Potter. They
worrying
can
because
do one.
the
Sorry, yes,
DC
Luke.
stuff, man, like you were saying, like it is worrying is that they have just started getting going.
Yeah.
They've been so disparate in terms of like connective story for so long, and it feels like they've just slowly got their like ducks in a row and they're about to go on something, and then there's this big change. So I totally understand what Troy was saying. You don't want it to set that off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Right. I'll drop this controversial opinion before I move on to the next thing. Then I think Quentin Tarantino is an absolute shit director, and
Way,
his
not
movies are terrible.
controversial at all. Not
I
controversial at all.
think he's terrible movie director.
Yeah.
So, better news. Let's have some good news and stuff like that then. So, we have a front runner for Brainiac now. I don't know if you've seen this, and
I
I
have not
do actually
seen
like
this.
it.
Okay.
Right, we
I
have
saw that.
now have a front runner, and I do actually like this casting. It's
Okay.
not who we said,
I was gonna
which I
say,
still. It's not Ray Fiennes. It's
yeah,
not Ray Fiennes who we chose. The front runner is Matt Smith.
Matt Smith.
Solid
Really
in it.
Hmm
interesting. Okay, he's very versatile, to be fair.
I do think it's quite a good. I do quite like that because you've obviously got the flamboyancy when he did the Doctor, but then as Daemon Targaryen in Game of Thrones, The House of the Dragon, he can be quite menacing as hell.
Oh, definitely.
So I
I,
actually am quite intrigued for this now. Like, if he is
he's
the front runner, there's three people. I can't remember the other ones, but a lot of places are now reporting he is the front runner of the three, and I like it.
He's also
Interesting.
about to play the villain in Starfighter, so maybe he's setting himself up as sort of a guy who plays villains.
Mm.
Interesting.
He was also meant to be Skynet, wasn't he, in Terminator
Yes.
at one
Oh,
point?
Yeah, I remember that.
interesting. Okay, so alongside Matt Smith, I've just looked it up. We have, I don't know how to pronounce his name because he's Danish, Claes Bang, who was in BBC's Dracula as Dracula,
Hmm
and Sam Rockwell, also a fantastic actor.
Mm.
But
Oh,
yeah,
there's the
those
other two
three.
rumors, Sam Rockwell and
They're the
So
three
these are the
frontrunners
final
currently.
three. These are the
Yeah,
right.
three
yeah.
front
So
runners.
I only saw Matt
But
Smith. I only saw Matt Smith.
yeah, Matt
Mm,
Smith was reported today. But yes, the reason you've probably seen him is because by the sounds of it, he is number one at the minute. He's the one that
Got
they're
you.
like. He's the closest to be getting the casting, which I
mm.
really like. Another DC casting is Scarlett Johansson in the Batman
Yeah,
Part Two.
yes. Who do we reckon she's playing?
Andrea Beaumont.
Google's frantically.
Yes, the Phantasm from Mask of the
Shit!
Phantasm.
Yeah, holy shit. My god. Okay, sorry. That if you've never seen Mask of the Phantasm, listeners, it is one of the greatest Batman things ever. It
Hmm
is a film, an animated film that is in the same universe as the Batman animated series from the 90s. And yes, Andrea Beaumont is the spoiler alert titular Phantasm. To see a live action Phantasm and done in the style of the Batman from Matt
Yeah.
Reeves would be crazy.
Because he did say it's going to be someone we haven't seen in the movies before. And people were like, oh my god, she's Ginger, she's Poison Ivy in that. But then people were saying she's going to be a love interest of Bruce Wayne. Who else can it be? Like, it's got to be Andrea Beaumont, and then you can
That's
obviously also
fucking
bring
cool.
Joker in it.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
Did you guys see there's some posts off of that where they're like, oh, how are they going to explain Zoe Kravitz not being in it? I'm like, bro, did you not see the end of the last film?
Literally.
Literally, just she
It's like everyone
literally rides off
forgot.
into the sunset in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah. We don't need
wow,
her. Like, we don't really need her in it. Like, this is a great character. You don't need to add Zoe Kravitz in there as Catwoman. You don't need to force that. This is a
absolutely.
fantastic character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is insanely cool. If true, if
Hmm.
true. That is
If true.
insanely cool.
Yes. We do not know if it's
Wow.
fully true yet, but yes, that's my prediction. I think it's going to be Andrea Beaumont.
That's immense. What a shout. Holy crap. Well, wow. I don't know where to go from there. I don't know where to go from there. Jeez.
Well, I've got one more thing. Not casting wise, but we got the first poster for Spider-Man Noir
Oh,
with Nicolas
yes.
Cage.
Yes.
Yes.
That's gonna be great.
So a bit of Marvel trivia knowledge sort of thing. So the original Spider-Man Noir was Peter Parker. They have changed it. It is now Ben Riley in
I
this version.
saw
Oh.
on the door on his detective
Hmm.
agency or whatever you call it. It's a very
Which I don't mind. I do not mind. I think for normal audiences as well, that's quite an easy thing to be like, oh, this is a completely different version of Spider-Man and everything like
Yeah.
that. The thing that I really like is they are going to release two versions. They're going to release it in colour and black and
That's so
white.
good.
that's cool.
Love that.
And I will be watching it in black and white. I probably will never watch it in colour.
I wonder what
It's
the
still
colors.
Nicolas Cage, right?
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
Um,
Mad.
it's
It's
mad.
mad, isn't it?
Perfect. It was perfect casting in
Fun.
Spider-Verse, and it's perfect casting now,
Yeah.
So I wonder what the colors will be because I'm hoping for some like muted, not quite black and white, gray, earthy tones. I'm thinking like BioShock colors.
Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders, exactly. Yeah, something of that. I'd probably watch them both, to be fair, but noir is literally, it's in the name. Black and white is,
Literally.
would be very cool.
Like, I
Phenomenal.
think I'm just going to watch it in black and white because I think it just really suits well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I will too.
yeah. I'm just
Fair.
quickly looking on IGN to see if there's anything else. Speaking of Peaky Blinders,
Speaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. They have actually announced today, about 5 hours ago, the film is coming out next year in March. I gave up on season 3. I lost it. I just was like, oh, this has got to be.
I didn't finish it
No,
either.
thank you.
Yeah.
It lost me, but yeah. IGN have actually put an article up, like, where is it? 2 hours ago. Netflix's strategy for DC needs to be this: do nothing. Literally.
Great job.
Leave it.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
could be the easiest job in the world,
literally. It could be so simple. But yeah, I mean, the biggest one we spoke about. That was the biggest one. The other thing was like, it consumed everything today, didn't it? Like, it was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Mm.
It
oh
was
my
all
god.
over everywhere.
So,
Oh,
yeah, I don't know if there was any gaming news that I've missed or anything, because I know you're more in the gaming space
if
than I
there
am, Dex.
was, I haven't heard of it, I'm
Yeah, me
sorry to
neither.
say.
I've been busy all day, so biggest news in the world could have dropped, and I'm totally oblivious right now.
Just some random ones that have been in the past 25, 24, what the fuck, 25 hours? Sure, it could have been 25 hours, fuck it. In the past 25 hours, if you are an Amazon Prime member, there are 14 free games that you can get via Amazon Games, so including some like decent ones actually. Lego 2K Drive is an underrated one. The old school Fallouts and Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, which is the sequel to Deus Ex: Human Revolution. Both are great games. So yes, if you're already a Prime member, you can pick up those for free. This is not an ad sponsored by Amazon. I actually quite dislike Amazon, but there you go. They can give away free stuff sometimes.
Please deliver my filament because I've got so many things to print.
Sort
Come
it
on,
out,
come on.
Bezos. Come
Right.
on, get
Yeah,
on it.
where's my filament? Speaking of Fallout, when does that actually release? Season 2? Because I've been checking the last few
December.
days and I'm like,
Yeah,
we're in
I saw
December.
the premiere was the other day.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. 17th of December is the first episode, and then Christmas Eve gets the
Oh, right.
second episode. Yes.
Fair enough. That's a lot further away than I thought.
Yes.
Also, I'm going to check it out tomorrow. There is actually a new Robin Hood series on Amazon from MGN.
Oh,
with Sean Bean as the Sheriff of Nottingham,
Oh,
which
interesting.
fun.
interesting. One last thing that I have just forgotten. Dex, you'll be so much better at pronouncing his name than I am because I'm terrible at it. A actor has passed away and he seems very beloved in Hollywood and stuff like that.
Yes.
Please pronounce his name. I know his first
He
name is Carrie.
Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa.
There we go. Thank you very
Yes.
much. Yes, well known for Mortal Kombat
Mhm.
and is it in Little Tokyo? I can't remember the first word.
Showdown in
No,
Little
with Dolph
Tokyo.
Lundgren. That's the one. Yeah, 75 years old, unfortunately.
Yes.
I
Complications from a
just
stroke,
wondering.
apparently. Yeah.
So, yeah, seeing it sounds like, unfortunately, Hollywood has lost a really nice guy and a good one,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yes. And an excellent
So,
actor. Like, don't let Mortal Kombat put you off. He is a
mm,
very good actor. Was a very good actor, sadly. He was in The Man of the High Castle as well. Damn it, Amazon! Like, that's another amazing hit on Amazon. But yes, he was in The Man in the High Castle.
I needed
Yeah.
a new series to watch, and I forgot that was a series. I need to watch that. Someone told me
There
ages
you
ago to watch
go.
that.
There you go. There it is. Alternate history. It's a
Yes.
very classic Wolfenstein story. Like the
Yeah.
Nazis have won, and
Mm.
what are the implications of the world further then? But yes. Sadly, may he rest in peace. Yeah. Uh, it's been an interesting year, unfortunately. I think good and bad.
That is, tis my news done.
Well then, there we go. I don't have any news. I don't know if Luke, there's any news you want to share before we dive into the main topic.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, man. No.
Fair play. Well, earlier I introduced Luke as stage host, and I also said that MCM Birmingham was this past weekend, and he is a stage host for MCM. If that wasn't clear, if for the people who are listening who don't know him, yes, he has this amazing job as the moderator and host for panels, and what else? Like what? You're involved in so many things, like these past couple MCMs, in fact.
Yeah, man, it just kind of threw me in at the deep end, really. So I usually get like a list of guests beforehand, and or even just general talks about things, and ask if I know one or whatever. Um, and we've just kind of gone from there. But yeah, they kind of queue up really interesting people for me to talk to, and I yap.
Nice. Yapping is good. Yapping is great. Like the people who could do it the best are the ones who do it professionally. This is now what they do. I was in a panel with Z What I Did, Zainab, and she
Very
was
cool
saying
lady.
that that's how she started as well. She was just yapping, and now she does it for a living. And you do it very well. I have to say. The
I'm
feedback
very
from
much at the
everyone as well,
start,
not
though.
just me.
Very much at the start. Obviously Z's been doing it for a few years now, hasn't
Yeah,
she? Like,
yeah.
very, very cool.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, like everyone's been singing your praises, not just me. So, people who are listening, don't just take my word for it. Which ones have you done thus far? Which panels have you hosted at either Birmingham or London? Because you did London ones as well.
Yeah. What, is in like my favorites or
Sure,
just
yeah. Which let's start with your favorites. Yeah.
I was really lucky at London, very much like the first time I'd ever done it. That like a rare coincidence, I actually got to interview my best friend, who's a composer for computer games, David Houston. So that was
Oh
pretty
yes.
wild. Like we grew up like teens and early 20s playing in bands touring the UK. So it was like still really obviously close friends now. So to then like talk to him in a professional environment, it was pretty cool. This last MCM, I had more sort of what you'd consider sort of like talent bookings, people who are voice actors and things like that. For the first one, it was sort of a lot of developers and people who contribute to music and writing and stuff, which is still amazing. But yeah, for this last one, I was so lucky I got to talk to obviously the ladies from Claire Obscure, which was unbelievable, fresh off the back of those Golden Joystick Awards, which I know you were
Hmm.
at, which very cool. I spoke to the chap who plays Miles Morales in the Spider-Man games, which was pretty sick. Yeah, oh, Silent Hill 2, which was so inspiring that Danny, right now, and my girlfriend Nell, she's playing Silent Hill from start to finish. So
Oh,
that got her. Yeah, it's been pretty sick, man. But everyone is super interesting in their own way. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's someone who's doing the art or a poster, or whether it's someone who's acting in something, you can always find something interesting.
yeah. I mean, I like to think, and thus far we've all been right about this. that MCM and other like big con organizers know what they're doing when they're putting certain people together, right, in front of people who are equally passionate about those projects they're involved in
Mm.
as any other person. How do you structure your chats, your hosting? What's your methodology going into it?
So like quite often, dude, especially with the games, like I am a gamer, but I'm not like a crazy hardcore gamer. Like I'll have to do a lot of research, you know. I was really lucky with Clair Obscur because although I didn't play it, I watched Danny play hours of it and I loved the story. So I felt I had a real good sort of understanding of it and what it's about. So I'll do first of all like just research. I will look up like the plot. I'll maybe play a bit. I will look up opinions and stuff like that. Watch other interviews that they've done and look at their sort of back catalogue of what they've done and try and just sort of formulate what I think that maybe the audience wants to do because what the audience wants to hear because like the fans are obviously the people that you really are trying to serve there as much as the people on stage.
And that makes sense. You're kind of like the fans' conduit to those
Yeah,
people,
and
right?
that's the thing, man. I'm always worried that like I don't want anyone. Like we've all sat in a panel at some point and gone, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And the thing is,
Yeah.
sometimes I really do not know what I'm talking about, but I've done the research to make sure that I do know, right? Because I think that that could be someone's favorite thing, and I want to do that person at least a solid that they're going, yeah, he's done a good job there, you know.
That's very cool.
Nice. Do you go in with like a full like question sheet then, or is it like I mean, obviously, you probably sometimes on stage there'll be sort of topic that comes up from something they've said that a question will come into your head. You're like, oh, even like we do on here, like something will come into
Mm,
his head, and it'll be like, oh, that's a really good one. I best ask that. But I'm guessing you
yeah.
just go up with a general list of the stuff you think you should cover.
Yes, for the first two cons for MCM I've done, I've had this book, and the book is like stacked with like every question I want to ask, and I will look back at it. Any picture you see of me, I've got it on my lap or on the table, and I'm referencing back. I do sort of see where the conversation goes and flows, and sometimes I will avoid a question. There's been times where I've gone, actually, do you know what? That ain't the vibe for this right now. You're picking up on sort of the atmosphere of the conversation, you know. But I will say as well, with the MCM Birmingham ones, when you're talking to people who are sort of like talent voice actors, you have to submit a lot of the questions in advance for consideration, whether it's the
Right.
MCM want to look over them and make sure that you've got your facts right, or whether it's that the agents want to have a look at them. So
Oh,
for Spider-Man, uh, Najee Jetta, and for Silent Hill 2, and for Clair Obscur, all of those I had to submit in advance. Oh, and for Damien Hass as well,
mm,
submit in advance. You'd think that that would mean it was felt more sort of like stuttered, but actually I felt like it gave more of a framework because I knew that they're not expecting me to like read line for line exactly the same. It's just that they sort of have a vague idea.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it is sort of like I know where I'm going, but I'm also very sensitive to like what's going on in the conversation, the atmosphere, even the crowd, you know.
fair point. They kind of feed off the energy wherever you get it, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you don't want to be forcing an issue that's clearly not the right time, and you don't want to be leaving something off when it's sort of like you said, Troy, someone's left something there and that's a hanging thread, and you're going,
Hmm.
I didn't put on my questions. Can I ask that? No, I'm just going to ask. I'm just going to ask and see how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, yeah,
And
nice.
if I get a stare from the side of stage, I know to sort of bring it back.
Yeah, we've all seen
Phenomenal.
bad interviews. The one that comes
Oh
to mind
God.
is that one with
Right.
Robert Downey Jr., where he literally storms out. I can remember that one.
Yep.
It's been an awful
I
one.
the Hollywood interviews where like they will ask Scarlett Johansson, "What was it like? How was your underwear doing all of those like
That stuff was
stunt
crazy, man.
scenes?" Crazy that the people like even consider that those words coming out of their mouths, you
You
know.
know, the first the first talent interview I did was the Andor panel
Mm,
at LFCC, right? And it wasn't a paid gig; it was still a creator gig, and I was really chuffed to get it, right? But I feel like that set me up to do okay because I had Nick Blood, who was on Agents of Shield and had a little part in Andor, and I had Alex Ferns, who he's in like Derry, the Welcome to Derry. He's in The Batman. He's in loads and loads of stuff. Godzilla and Kong, and obviously Andor. Nick Blood was giving me some really solid, good answers. He was just what I assumed it would be. But for whatever reason, Alex Ferns did not want to be interviewed. And it was difficult, man. I'm asking
Mm.
him sort of, what's your inspiration? What do you like doing? Oh, I don't watch films. I don't watch TV. And he's dead in me. So I'm like, okay, what do you like? I like to watch golf. And I was just like, oh my God, I was drowning. If it wasn't for the fact Nick Blood was up there, I think I would have really struggled, you know. But that baptism of fire, and then I went and did some video interviews, which are much more comfortable, and everyone was very much giving and very, you know, very much what I assumed it would be. I was so glad that I started with something so hard, you know, whether it was a bad day for him or whether he'd been told last minute he was doing the interview or whatever, I don't know. But oh my God, it was very trying. Oh,
Wow.
the only thing he did say when I managed to get some information out of him was how annoyed he was that he got like dropped from the rest of Andor when they cut the seasons from 5 to 2, you know, and he was pretty expletive about how he felt about it.
Wow. God. Okay.
Whoa.
It's amazing you had that and then still wanted to keep going. So, yeah, more power
Bro,
to you.
I spun out for a good half hour. Like, I was like, oh, I'm just not good at this. I'm actually just not good at this, and maybe we shouldn't do these video interviews. Maybe I just won't bother because Nell was with me and she was encouraging and she was like, look, we're here. You've literally already spoken to who did I already speak to? Brendan Wayne. I had a chat with him on the way in. You've already spoke to him. He's obviously a nice guy. It's going to be fine. And if it wasn't for that encouragement, I probably would have bitched out, mate, because I was
Oh,
spinning, absolutely spinning.
well, shout out to her at Nonstop now on
Absolutely.
all. That's awesome. Uh,
How did you actually get into this? Like, where did the
Yeah,
stage
man.
part of this come from?
So years and years and years ago, I was involved in music and I played in bands and stuff like I mentioned earlier. So I'm pretty comfortable on stage from that. But I hadn't done anything like that for like a long, long while. In 2021, in October, we came to our first MCM. We had a great time and we started being part of the community. We started our own Instagrams like everyone in cosplay does. And then we got obsessed with like, how does this work? Like, oh, look, these people are going to like premieres off of this or they're doing this cool thing. Like, what's and then that meant that we got involved in like understanding the like analytics of it and stuff because there's like always things to learn. I had a basic understanding of like PR from the music stuff, and I was like, I think some of this stuff applies. So we got hyper fixated on that and trying to understand like what essentially the market was. And we did a MCM panel on statistics and stuff. It was I got a creator pass, and it was the only creator pass I'd ever had for MCM. I was like, I'm gonna make the most of this, make as much content as possible, and I'm gonna get involved with this panel. So me, Nell, Andrew, simply skywalking. We all had this sort of hyperfixation, and we did that, and it went really well, and I was really chuffed. And off the back of that, plus the Instagram stuff, that's how I got asked to do the Andor panel. And then the video interviews were off our own back while we were there to just sort of fill out the day. They went down okay, I think, compared to like the usual sort of rubbish I put online. And I had a little offer to go interview for something before that for another con, but it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it was a good mix for me personally. And I was a bit gutted. I was like, man, this may be my one chance to do it for like a paid job. And I kind of gave up on that. And I was like, right, next MCM, we want to do the same panel again, but better. So we got some more people in, applied for a creator, I got it. And I was like, right, I'm going to do a second panel and we're going to do it about film. So we set that up with our friend Nada and Becky Bombshell and the Geeks of the Week. And I was really chuffed. I was like, cool, I've gone from doing one panel at MCM. I've done the stuff in between, which is really cool. And now I'm doing two. So it felt like it's still progress. And about 5 weeks before that MCM, Dan, who's my boss at MCM, he emailed me and was like, how much would it cost for a whole weekend? Like, can you cost it up? I was like, what? Like, I was not expecting that. I'd made a joke once. So I know you guys know Emma.
Yeah.
Emma one time I was talking to her and asked how people become hosts. You know, she's like, well, you know, they kind of do the whole weekend if they're not on the creator stage, and we have to pay them to be honest, Luke. I was like, I don't mind being paid, and we just left it at that. We both laughed, like thought it was stupid, but yeah. So when Dan sent me that email, I was just like, okay, now I have to try and understand first of all what to charge and what's reasonable and what's not reasonable. But yeah, here we are now on the second one, and I think it's gone okay.
Seems to have gone more than okay,
Yeah.
if you ask me. But I love that because it's like you don't ask, you don't get, right? So what's the worst that can happen? Even if it's like an offhanded joke, as you say. But like, for the
Yeah,
people listening at home, I think it's one of
Yeah.
those, just yet another, every person we've had on, and this is fascinating, and I say this every time, Troy, but every person we've had on, like, shares a similar sort of like ambition and drive that you're the people who are where you are because you've gone,
Yeah.
I want to do this thing, and you do that thing, and you tell the right people that you want to do this
yeah.
thing.
Well, I always think,
Yeah.
mate, it's about getting to know people without any kind of agenda, right? The the times I've spoke to you, I'm like, I know what you do for cosplay and stuff, and I think that's really cool. I know the things you're into, so I want to get to know more about you. I want to get to know what like makes you tick and what you do. Because like for a long time, I'd enjoy those things in isolation. It'd be solitary, you know. And when you find like the sort of cheesy thing people say, your people have those common interests, people that have like that shorthand of communication, it feels comfortable pretty instantly. And suddenly, like, oh, this really cool person does this job. If they need something and they think you're a cool person, it kind of starts clicking, you know?
Mm.
So yeah, I always say get to know people without agenda. Like, if you like something and that person likes something, that's enough. Like, that's enough to have a conversation and get to
Yeah,
know them.
That's a really good
yeah.
point. Yeah.
Dex knows that I'm known for just messaging people that I know we're probably never gonna get on here.
Love that.
Like, and then Dex will message me and go, "Did I just see you message that person on the pod email?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did, yeah." But,
Love that though, man.
but it literally the other day, it's worked, hasn't it? For one of the things, so we're hoping to potentially have an interview with the new creative team on the Daredevil comic run next year.
That's sick.
So they literally popped up on my Instagram, and I was literally sat with Dex and just went, Dex, I'm just going to email, I'm going to message them, see what
I was
happens.
like,
And
fuck it,
within
why not?
5 minutes, 5 minutes, the artist had messaged me back straight away, and
That's so
now I'm
cool.
actually in contact with them because I've started building their new Daredevil suit as a cosplay, and they're both
That's sick.
following my progress. So
It's
like,
so
I just
funny,
took a
man.
shot and it worked.
Yeah,
Reaching
absolutely.
out like that, putting yourself out there, and like again, like the people who make these things, they are just like us. They're just in situ. You know, they're just in the job.
That's
They
cool.
have passion for these things. You know,
That's a really good point. They're like us. And like what you were saying about like finding your people, I think like the most amount of time like we'd spent together in one sitting was probably the Back to the Future thing. Even and
yeah.
then I was like, yeah, this guy. It was
But
one
I
of the
love
things like,
that click. That click. It's not even that like it's this mega chemistry and we're gonna be friends forever, bro. But it's that thing where like you go, yeah, no, this guy definitely has had similar experiences to me, has similar interests. We're communicating in a way that is fluid and comfortable. And for me personally, like, because I'm autistic and I'm really bad at communication, which I know seems stupid because of what I'm doing. But in situations like this, or situations like on stage, where there are like there's structure and there's rules and there's an understanding as to like what the way of communicating is and what I can expect. I feel so comfortable, and then add to that then like common experiences through like different games, comic books, films, animations, or whatever. Suddenly, I'm just like, oh, do you know what? These are the connections that I've been missing. You know,
yeah,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
like it flows. It just starts to flow rather than you have that thought process. It just actually goes like rather than I have the same sort of thing, and I sometimes struggle like you do with that. The one that I always pops to mind when someone sort of explains that is it's the extreme. But it's where some you see someone with a speech impediment who wants to sing, and then they put
totally.
headphones on and they can sing.
No, totally, man. I
Hmm.
mean, if you see me at the Novo or something like that at a con and there's a big group of people, I'm not the dude in the middle. I'm not the dude who's like life and soul of the party. I'll probably be on the outside, maybe looking a little bit zoned out, but listening to everyone, then sort of sectioning off with maybe two or three people having a conversation. But like, I really struggle to find that moment to interject in a conversation where there's multiple people, you know?
Huh. Wow. I mean, thank you for sharing that, obviously. And like it's potentially something that like you wouldn't just tell everybody. So we feel privileged to have the information. And for what
Dude,
it's worth,
I'm
if it's
open with that stuff. Cause yeah, I'm totally open with it. And when actually at MCM Birmingham, I spoke to Damien Hass,
mm,
who I don't know if you guys are aware of his work, but he's on like Smosh, he's a streamer,
hmm
he's a voice actor and great things. He is also neurodivergent, and he was saying that like, you know, cons are essentially like a nightmare for people who are neurodivergent because of the structure, like with what I'm saying on stage, like he knows people come up to his table, he knows what's happening here, what's and like what to expect. It works for him. And the same with improv. Like if you said to people like that an autistic person was going to be involved in a collaborative project with like 20 people and they're going to have to know the social norms and conventions to do improv comedy without causing massive offense to everyone, they'd say, oh, autistic people can't do that. But it's because of those structures that he's able to comfortably flow in that, where he wouldn't be able to do it if he was just like out in public or whatever, you know.
that's
So
really
I find it
interesting.
really interesting. I find it really interesting that there are these sort of like shorthands of communication in convention spaces, and that there are these structures that enable a lot of neurodivergent people who are in these spaces to feel comfort, even when like on paper, it should be a nightmare.
Never thought of that, but that makes so much
Mm.
sense. That's really cool, actually. Oh man, some questions about you now, if I may.
Sure.
You mentioned you were a musician before. What is some of the musical artists or acts that have inspired you?
So I grew up just as a big old emo. I loved Taking Back Sunday. I
Oh,
loved Brand New, The Starting Line, The Get
wow,
Off Kids, all the classics like Blink-182, Green Day, and stuff like that too. Um, but yeah, that was very much my jam. And then sort of later in my teens into stuff like post-hardcore, like Funeral for a Friend and Fight Star. Yeah, it was a good time to be into that sort of music.
that's legit. What did you play in the band?
So I was a singer, but
Amazing.
I wrote a lot of the songs on guitar as well. But I am ham-fisted and crap. So I very rarely play guitar live,
I'm sure that's not true as in terms of your crapness, but I
bro.
knew the answer to that question
It is.
because I remember on one of your stories you posted some of your music and you had alluded to the fact that you were singing and I was like, damn, he sounds really good. How long ago was that?
15 years, 13
Wow.
years. Like I'm a elder statesman now these days, dude. But yeah, it's quite a while ago now.
Oh, jeez. That's cool. That's
Mm.
very cool.
How many
Because
did
I know you're a
Dex?
fantastic musician as well, man.
Thank you. That's very kind.
Literally,
Thank you.
how many instruments do you play, Dex?
Okay, I could comfortably now play the guitar, bass, drums, a bit of piano. I grew up starting with trumpet and French horn. I played the euphonium for a bit. If you know, it's one of those where if you like know how to play one, you'll pick up the others pretty quick in like a similar like instrument family.
Piano is always the key, right? I always notice the guys I know who play piano, they're like they can play anything basically.
Yeah. Because piano teaches you like music theory and just like you could see every note laid out before you and you're like, ah, these shapes make these sounds and these sounds
Yeah.
go together with these sounds like that. Like I'm a visual learner and I never realized that till recently, so maybe that's why. But like I only picked up the piano late. Like I was a guitar player first. And then I was like, these shapes make these shapes on the piano. Here's Vanessa
Mm.
Carlton's A Thousand Miles. You know what I mean? Anyway,
It was that stuff that helped with the stage presence, to be fair, mate. Because I think if I hadn't have done that, I would be, and also if I hadn't have played shows with like bands that I like grew up liking and done festivals and stuff like that, then like I would probably get more scared when talking to people who are again doing creative things that I enjoy.
that's cool. That bit of context is that's very cool.
Next, we'll get this reference. I play the triangle.
Troy plays an excellent triangle. His face.
Do you
Is
actually know
that
that I
It's
did play
American?
an instrument?
I genuinely didn't know that you played an instrument, actually. Well,
No. So first, I'll explain this to Luke. So
yeah,
there's
let's
a
play.
thing
Explain the
we
joke.
went to.
Yeah, go.
So we went to Disney, and one of our friends wanted to go and meet Miguel. You know the character performers and that. And we're
Yeah.
there for the photo, and he's like, "Oh, all of you in." So we ended up going in, and he starts deciding that we're all going to play instruments. So I think Dex got a guitar, and
Air
there's somebody like
instruments for the record. Air
air
instruments for the
instruments, and
photo. Yeah.
someone got a piano and a trumpet, and he gave me a triangle. It's just
It's
like,
just
of all the instruments, you've just given really cool stuff, and you give
of all
me
the fake instruments that we have to pretend we're holding and using in this photo, it
one
was just
standing like that.
hilarious. It was hilarious.
I thought you were referencing like American Pie when they're like playing
No,
the
The-
it was a
strings.
bit in.
that would have been good too. Oh man. Troy, what instrument do you play?
Don't anymore. I've lost all ability to play it, unfortunately. But I was a classic Spanish guitarist.
Holy shit, that's
Nice, bro.
amazing.
I was a grade 8 and above classical
Dude,
Spanish guitarist.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
what?
So my last performance on stage, like actually playing, I played Bach's Prelude in D minor.
Yeah, so you guys are levels way above me. I literally was ham-fisted, turn it a drop D, hope that it sounds vaguely musical. Like you guys
Rock,
have got actual
metal, and
talent.
emo. Perfect. Done.
So I was good, and I've just lost all ability. Honestly, literally,
When was
I just
this?
ran out of time and stuff like that. So I actually played Bach's Prelude in D minor at 10 years old.
Jeez, man.
Troy,
I know.
So
what?
cool.
I actually remember, like, I was getting to the point where it was like I was having to use 7 fingers on the frets. So I was having to use these and then also use 2 fingers for the fret and pluck with the two index and that fingers to actually be able to play the amount of
Troy.
chords that are in
What?
it.
I feel
Yeah,
like in those films where one person finds out their like husband or wife is a secret agent, it's like that. What?
I love that though when people have little
yeah,
bits of lore that are just holding to themselves and then they drop it.
yeah.
I
I think, do you know what though? I think it would probably not as well as I could, but it would come back a little bit because I taught myself in lockdown when I got the time, and obviously I couldn't go to the gym and stuff like that, so I'd got more time to do and stuff like that. I taught myself the whole main theme of The Last of Us within about 30 minutes.
nice.
So I think it would come back.
It
I
sounds
think
like you
the
have the
reason I
guitar at
lost,
home.
I have at my parents. I've got my original, which was not a cheap guitar.
I bet. I bet.
And of course we had the dude from The Last of Us at MCM
Yes.
London, didn't we? He did
Yes.
a show. Troy, no, he's Troy as well, isn't he? He's Troy Baker.
Yeah.
Troublemaker,
Troy
yeah,
Baker.
yeah.
Yeah. I second out myself there because you
No,
want
no,
to be
you're
Troy.
good.
Yeah. But yeah, and just picked it up, was like, oh, I really like that theme. Let's see if I can do it. And
Very cool.
did it in about half an hour. Yeah. Um,
I
there's something else. I think the reason I lost love for it was, although it was impressive playing the Spanish guitar stuff, it wasn't the music I wanted to play.
yeah.
And the person in my teacher, my coach sort of thing, wouldn't let me do anything else other than this sort of thing. He was like, no, no, you're good at this. We do this. And I was like, but I've lost interest because I wanted to play this and he wouldn't let me.
Dude,
So I think that was the reason I was like, I'm done.
that's fair. It's sad, but it's fair. You
Mm,
know, you can't be passionate about something if you're forced to be. You
mm.
have to find it yourself, right? Dude, I need to go. This is crazy. This is blowing my mind. We're gonna talk about this some more. Uh,
I think if anything else obscure that I could just drop in there that
Troy's
you
like,
don't know.
I'm as good a skateboarder as Tony Hawk. I can.
No. County rugby player. I was a county rugby player.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else. Obviously, skiing. Do a lot of
Yes.
skiing,
Yes.
skiing, snowboarding, and telemarking.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
there's nothing really else to drop in there. But yeah, the guitar one's probably there. Like
Man of many
what?
hats.
That's wild. You're athletic, obviously, but also you can craft extremely well, and you were a grade 8 and above musician is blowing my mind. Okay. See, okay, sorry, Luke, but the reason
No, it's
I'm
all good.
harping on
Sorry.
this
Yeah.
is because Troy often, sorry man, often like thinks and like focuses, as we all do, on the negative stuff that he can't do. And
Yeah.
he's like, I'm not good at this. You do. I'm not good at this. And I'm like, but you're so good at so many other things. You're way more athletic than me. For example, you're a way better crafter than me. Like, bar none. This is not a debate. So
I'm way more fit than you. Just to let you know, Luke, I wrote Dex a workout the other day, which on
Right.
paper looked really easy. And he
yeah,
messaged me about halfway through, just like, I'm fucking dying.
this is hell on earth. CrossFit sucks. I can see why you do it.
I understand what you're saying though about what Troy experiences, like imposter syndrome and stuff like that, man. Like it's
Massively.
difficult, isn't it? Because you don't want to be that guy who's like super full of yourself, but also you don't want to be putting yourself down and not like appreciating like the skills that you do have. It's a really fine line to walk sometimes.
Yeah,
To not have like
Yeah.
overconfidence and like foolish sort of pride, but also not like go and minimize the incredible things you can do.
yeah. And this is one of those unwritten social rules, isn't it? That like,
Mm.
you can't brag about it, but you also have to be kind of proud of it.
I think it's a cultural thing as well, mate, because I've noticed that a lot of Americans that I know, they are much more loud and proud, let's say, about the things they're good at.
Mm.
Whereas, British people, I feel, were quite apologetic about being good at something. I'm trying to subscribe to being more like direct and proud because what I always end up doing is sort of like being like, oh yeah, no, I have worked hard, but there's a lot of luck and the wind was really good that day and the acoustics in this room and I'm always
Mm,
reaching to try and make sure that like people know it's not just like some sort of God defined thing that's happened. But yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah,
find a
no,
way that's more comfortable of expressing that. Oh no, I am good at this. Yeah.
yeah, no, I totally get that. Like, I hate bigging myself up on stuff. Like,
Mm.
I am proud to say, like, I have done photo shoots and training and stuff like that for like myself to get myself like low body fat and stuff like that. But even when I still now like I obviously put my stuff on Instagram to like keep accountable for myself as well. Like, oh, I've been today, I've done it and stuff like that. I hate bigging it up. Like, I know some people are just like, I've been and thrown some stuff around today. I've thrown some tin around. Some stuff's going to get lifted. I'm like, yeah, it was a good one today. I did this. It was good. I enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
I hate bigging it up about that. And I don't expect anyone to message me like, oh, yeah, well done, bro, and all this. And I'm just like, this is more accountable for me to
Yeah.
say that I'm still
How
going
old are you,
on them
Troy?
days I don't want to go. That's when I
How
go.
old
Like,
how
I
old
can
are you,
put
bro?
that up and that. Yeah. I'm 29. No, I'm not. I'm 20.
I thought
Yes,
you
I
were a
am.
lot
Oh,
younger. I thought you were a lot
Troy.
younger than that, to be fair, bro. Because I was about to say that, like, for me, once I hit 30, that's when I started being a lot more comfortable with sort of just being like, no, this is me, and I am good at these sort of things. But yeah, I entirely the same. When I was 27 to 29, I was playing a lot of football, and again, similar sort of thing. All the guys who were giving it all this, and I was just trying to do my best to keep my head above water. I didn't feel comfortable giving it a lot of mouth about it, so I completely.
Yeah. And I think it helps when you have people close to you who are hyping you up for you. I think that's
Yeah,
one good thing about finding your people is that they are unashamedly proud of you, even if you can't, for whatever reason, even if you don't believe it or if society won't let you, even if you can't be proud of yourself openly, right?
no, totally.
So, yes, we are all each other's hype people, and I'm very happy with that. Yeah,
It's one of the
cool.
best things about the cosplaying con space, mate. And like I said, getting to know people without any kind of agenda and having those connections where you by nature like what they do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I always find with going off that when I see someone like saying it's toxic, there's drama in that. Have you ever sat back and thought that you might be the drama?
Oh, bro, don't even like anyone who goes on about drama is essentially right in the mix of it because
Yeah,
like
Literally.
I just think to myself like if you've got a problem with that sort of thing, go hang out with someone else. Go hang out with someone else.
yeah,
Remove yourself from that situation.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
100%.
don't personally get it. And also like this idea about the community being a monolith. When even within just cosplay, you've got bought cosplay, you've got completely crafted cosplay, you've got people who like do competition cosplay, you've got people who do closet cosplay. It's not a monolith. Like there is like a million different subsections, and everyone's community is like completely entwined and personal to them. So the idea that you can just sort of go, oh yeah, the community is toxic. Well, maybe yours is. Or maybe right now yours is, or maybe you're in a bad spot and some people aren't being very nice to you, and that fucking sucks. But yeah, I actually really hate that when people are just like, it's awful. It's like, I'm really sorry it's bad for you right now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we're clipping that. That's going on
And
the
I was literally about to say,
that's going on the socials.
Bro,
preach,
actually,
sir,
I say
preach.
that, I'm about to get all the toxicity in the world for that now.
Well, they're
The
the
other,
problem.
when I did a podcast and they asked me this one question about like what the worst cosplay is, right? And I said Joker and Deadpool
Oh,
because of the
yes.
people who are like over the top, right? The people who are like in character all the time and like because me personally, I find that really difficult because of the social cues and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Anyway, they clipped it and like then suddenly, I mean, it's not a lot compared to what some people get, but suddenly it's like what 400 likes or whatever and like 10K views, and I'm just getting like people in there being like, no, actually you're the problem. And I'm like, lots of people agreeing too, but I was like, oh man, I've offended people,
No,
and literally I was just trying
this
to
is coming from
respond.
a Deadpool cosplayer. I agree with you. Like Dex knows it's the reason that I stopped doing Deadpool for
So many people say
years
that, bro.
because I was like, I love this character. I enjoy doing it. The kids loved it, but you started to get a bad rap with people just
Mm,
because you were wearing that suit because they'd had interactions with other people who just
it
think
sucks.
I'm wearing a Deadpool suit. That means that I'm the character, and that character's a dick. No, he's not. You're obviously not really looking at the character. He's a dick to people he doesn't like.
I think it's
And it put
interesting.
me off doing it for years.
I think it's interesting both those characters are really nihilistic as well, and
Yes.
like the time that like
Mm.
we're living in being so like nihilistic in a lot of ways, and suddenly it's like they put on a mask or the makeup and they feel like they've got the reason that they can get away with being that way.
Yeah, it's like a
Hmm.
hall pass. Well, I'm just in
It,
character. I can be
Mm.
unhinged or literally kind of abusive in Joker's case. Ugh. Uh,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
they got clipped up, and I was just like, oh man, someone is offended, I'm sure. And then within minutes, it's coming in. If that happens, anything like that with yours, I can imagine as
we'll
well.
defend you,
Yes, we
is what's
will.
going
We're
to happen.
sticking well up for you on that one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To a degree. And this is not that I agreed with everything he ever said or did, but Winston Churchill had a great quote, which is something along the lines of, if you don't have people arguing with you, if you don't have enemies, then you stand for nothing, you know.
Mm.
And
Now do it.
and
Now do it as an impression.
where's my 70 cigars? Hang on.
Come back to me in 40 years.
Exactly. Yeah, I gotta get Jowly first. But yeah, like in your case, it's a perfectly valid opinion. Like there are certain opinions that are purposefully offensive. Some of them were Winston Churchill's, funny enough, but like that's a perfectly valid opinion. I think it's one that people in the community need to kind of realize and maybe reflect on. That maybe
I
it's
always
them.
think I think it's interesting as well, like sort of it touches a little bit on what we spoke on earlier, that like there's a lot of neurodivergent people in the space, right? So not only have you got people who maybe don't always pick up on social cues, but you've got people who are looking for leadership, someone to follow or whatever, you know? And obviously you've got people who very much want to be leaders or trendsetters and stuff like that. And really it depends on who you met at your first con or who you met that weekend or whatever. It can really like influence how people react to things and stuff like that, or how people feel about certain things, and how the narrative they give about how their con went as well. You know,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if that makes too much sense with like your experiences or whatever, but
No, definitely.
Yeah. In the end, it's just a bit of fun as well, isn't it? A con.
That's
Like
the
right.
point.
literally,
It's
like
supposed to be that, right? Yeah.
just touching on slightly what we went earlier. I don't know if you saw my
Mm,
story earlier, Dex. So I wrote something just to touch on the whole Warner Brothers Snyder stuff, and I was
Hmm.
quite proud of the ending. So I put a picture of Henry and I put a picture of David side by
I remember
side.
this. Yeah, yeah.
And I thought,
okay.
so Netflix has bought Warner Brothers, and once again we have this argument. My question is, why? You can like both. I like both. Do I like one interpretation more than the other? Yes, I do. Do I love the other interpretation and can watch it and enjoy it and still want to cosplay it? Yes, I do. Yes, I like Superman. I like getting content with Superman. I like different iterations of Superman. There doesn't have to be arguments and fallouts over a character. Just enjoy it for what you enjoy and let others enjoy what they enjoy. I like both. At the end of the day, we're all celebrating about a man who can fly and lift buildings. Be adult. It's fiction. Just enjoy it.
Clap, clap.
Do you know what, man? That resonates as well because like being a big Star Wars guy, like the discourse in amongst that is very similar. You know, it's if
Hmm.
I've
you
had
like
it.
this, you must think this. If you can't like that because that's woke or whatever, man, like
Yeah.
it's you can like whatever you like. There are parts of Star Wars that people love that are just not for me,
Mm.
and then there are parts that I know a lot of people really don't like, and I can find something that I love in it, and it's all valid.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very true.
See, I actually had that a long time ago. I had a Captain Rex armor. I built it myself out of foam, and that
Sick.
that was what I did over lockdown,
Oh
with
wow.
doing the guitar stuff. And I posted it, and I was really happy with it. And I tagged the guy who I'd got the inspiration from, who was doing his own podcast called Rexing Around at the time,
Yep.
and he commented saying, "Dude, this is foam. It's amazing in that." But then I also got messages from people who'd obviously built their armor in 3D and all this and everything, saying I was a
Yeah.
disgrace to the clone community as it wasn't scaled properly and all this and everything. And I was just like,
I hate that
dude,
finicky
I like
stuff. I
I like the
hate it, man.
character and I made it.
Yeah.
What is the point? What do they get out of commenting something like that? Or having those thoughts but then voicing them out loud? Like what are they trying to protect? You
I
know?
find it really interesting. Like, it's such a creative thing, right? And I mean, this sort of it boils into like the club sort of stuff with the screen accurate sort of stuff as well.
Mm,
Like, it's totally fine if you want a screen accurate cosplay, but like, what are you getting from saying that someone else's isn't screen accurate? The first time I ever wore my Cobb Vamp with the 3D plates instead of the pleather, I walked past a booth and there was a dude telling me that I'd done something wrong. And it was unsolicited. And I was like, all right, interesting. Like, I was still relatively new to cons then. I didn't know, like, if that was normal or what. In retrospect, he was trying to use it as a way of sort of, like, getting me to come over and talk and maybe compare notes or whatever. But it is just rude. It is just really rude. Someone's work and you're going, oh, could have done that better.
Yeah. No, I get that. Like Dex will tell you, like the amount of work I put into this thing. Like this is screen accurate. Like this is as close as I could get. If someone comes up to me who maybe hasn't done that, that's fine. But also if they come up to me and go, "How did you do that?" I'd rather help them because they're obviously a fan of the same thing. If
Right.
you want to make this, I'll help you. Because it took
I
me
love
so
that.
long to figure it out, so much wasted stuff. I'd rather you not spend a fortune on all that wasted stuff and do it right. So
Yeah.
we're all fans of the same thing. Just
Yeah.
enjoy it. Like
Oh, I love
this
that.
isn't my character. I didn't invent him. I just wear the damn
No.
thing and act like I'm a superhero.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. This is a community, and it's supposed to be fun. What's the point of gatekeeping?
Mm.
What's the point of tearing each other down over little stupid things? Anyway,
Yeah.
well, as a Star Wars fan, Luke, do you have any? I mean, as you've said, there's certain things you don't like about it. Is there
Sure.
something that you don't like that is particularly contentious, controversial, perhaps?
You try and catch me out for another one of these clips, aren't you?
Yeah.
You
No,
try and
Right,
get.
I'm just gonna put my cursor on the stop button.
yeah.
Just ready.
I really struggle with Attack of the Clones. I really find it hard going. I didn't like it when I was younger. I can now appreciate elements of it. Um, because the first ever Star Wars I saw in the cinema was The Phantom Menace, and
Oh.
I loved it. Like I know it was like
Mm.
controversial at the time, but I really loved it.
Hmm.
And Attack of the Clones was such a like change. Obviously, you had Hayden Christensen coming in, and the vibe of it was completely different. And there are millions of Jedi instead of just like a couple. And then when I was a kid, the cloning thing for some reason, as a kid, I appreciate it now, but I was just like, this is stupid. Why are they all the same person? It just didn't sit right with me for whatever reason, and
I,
I've never really got over it.
Jesus, I bet Willy
I find
Wonka
it
was
hard,
hard.
but I find it really hard to like enjoy it the same way I enjoy the others. But there are scenes I really like in it. But yeah, just it's not a film for me.
it is comfortably my least favorite of the three trilogies. My least favorite
Mm.
film out of all three trilogies.
Have you heard Dexter's hot take? Because
It's a
I
very,
hate
very
this
hot
hot take.
take. I know it's a
This is a
very, very hot
very.
take.
This is scolding.
This
I'm
is
ready. I'm ready.
I did not care for Rogue One.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Why was that?
Well, I found the characterization rushed. Obviously,
Okay.
at the end, for spoilers for people who haven't seen like a 10-year-old film, everyone dies. Like, for me, I got to that point and I was like, I don't even know half of their names.
Mm.
So I felt like something about the pacing led me to not get to know them in a way that I could have felt for all of them. Obviously, Jin and Andor's story was great. Like, I liked that it was more serious, dangerous tone than the other Star Wars films, but like the one thing that really let me down and one thing I really care about a lot in film is characterization. I want that like personal connection and I just didn't
Uh-huh.
feel it.
It is interesting you say that, mate, because Nell had never watched any Star Wars until we got together, and she always says about Rogue One that Jyn Erso is like completely flat for her. She
Mm,
gets like nothing off of her in terms
there
of
you go.
characterization. And I listening to what you say, I also think about the production of that film. I'm not sure if you're aware, but like they had to reshoot like the entire final third and change the pacing up. There are scenes in the trailer that just never made it to film. They were really like cutting it fine. So I think
Huh.
it's. I mean, look, I love Rogue One, but then I love it for like its place in the larger canon as much as anything, and what then Andor became. But actually, listening to what you're saying and looking at it as a film, I think it's a perfectly valid take, mate.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
But it is something that I understand why people would be like, ooh,
Mm, yeah. It's I think one of the most beloved of all the Star Wars media. You know, I think
mm,
everyone kind of that I've met so far is universally loved Rogue One, and fair enough. Yeah, maybe I should watch it
Uh,
again. I don't know.
and now Dex calls me out for mine.
No, you'll call yourself out for yours. Thank you very much.
Dex will get why this is mine because I always say about it all the time. What do I say that I don't like in
You don't.
films, Dex?
Troy doesn't like prequels.
I don't like prequels. I don't like Andor because I don't find any threat level at all because I know what happens to him. I know when he dies.
Yes.
I get
I
that.
just,
I get that.
yeah, that it's just my thing, and I know it's weird and some people don't get it, but I'm just like, oh my god, the guy's hanging on a cliff. He's obviously not going to die because he dies there instead.
Yeah.
Do you
Like,
find it hard to like break your like suspend your belief because you know the ultimate fate of the character sort of thing?
yeah, I find that really hard to do. While
Mm,
when it's something like the one I go to is The Hobbit. There's enough characters in there that I don't know what happens to that I can enjoy it because I know that Bilbo
We are
survives and he says, "Pardon."
we're clearly touching on everyone's buttons here because I could rant to you about The Hobbit forever because that is another one of my films, well, three films that personally I'm so disappointed with because I
Yeah.
loved that book as a kid
Yes.
and the way they split it into three films and then the way they tonally tried to make it like Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
But like the Hobbit was a
It's a
children's book
children's book.
that was
Yes.
supposed to grow with the audience into the Lord of the Rings. They're backwards engineering it to be like Lord of the Rings tone with the Hobbit. Then they're cutting it into three, and it's in weird places. And yeah, I have a whole fascination on that film because I was like, who signed off on this? And really, what I really wanted was the Del Toro Hobbit that they promised.
It would have
And
been
then
so interesting.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then
It
that all
would have been
fell to shit.
so interesting to see that take on it, wouldn't it?
Yep.
And Martin Freeman's performance is like shit hot in that. It's really good.
It's really
And it's
good.
like, in my opinion, the film lets him down. Like, he's really good as Bilbo.
That's a really good point.
Riddles in the dark. The riddles in the dark scene is
Yeah.
brilliant. Them two
Yeah.
just bouncing off each other is brilliant. That is great.
It
Gotta
is great.
admit.
No, you're totally right.
Yeah.
The
See, like
moments
this,
are great.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the films, and I love Thorin. I cosplay Thorin. I haven't in a long
Mm.
time, but I feel as though the way we're saying it, the kids thing and everything, feels like the start of the first film when they're all singing in Bag End and it's all the plates are throwing around and bouncing
Yeah,
about. That to me, that's my favourite part of the entire trilogy. As soon as they leave the Shire, I enjoy it. Before that, that's my favourite bit with all the dwarves come in and they're all introducing themselves. I flipping love that bit.
I love the trolls bit where the trolls capture him
Yeah,
and
that's
argue
good.
until
That is
Yeah.
good as
that's
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
in the book. That was always my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I do agree with you, Luke. The Hobbit was disappointing for me personally, and it felt like a cash grab, which is why, like to me, was the worst thing about it. Like, of course, the split into three, and now I'm disappointed that we didn't get a Guillermo del Toro Hobbit because
Right.
he does fantasy whimsy with threat really well for an intended
Yeah.
on. Like he's done, childlike wonder in a dark fantasy world
Mm.
exceedingly well.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Exactly.
Did you guys watch the Pinocchio that he made?
Yes.
My
Yes.
God, like
Amazing.
so good. And no one really talks about it anymore.
That's true.
Maybe it came out at Christmas time. I can't remember, but like
Yes,
everyone
this rings a
watched it,
bell. Yeah.
raved about it, and then like it gets forgotten about. But I was thinking the other week when watching Frankenstein, because we went back and watched some of his old films off the back of that, and I was like, I want to go back and watch Pinocchio because that
Yeah.
was so dark but so fairy tale, like you said.
Exactly. Exactly
Yeah.
that. You are barking up the right
Do you
tree
know?
currently, because Troy's a huge
Hmm.
Guillermo del Toro fan, so
Shall I grab
What
it?
about Cabinet
It's
grab
never
it.
done.
Curiosity, bro? You gotta watch
It's
that. That's so good.
Yeah.
insane.
Um.
Insane.
Yeah. Like I. Do you know what I think it might have been? The reason it got forgotten is because the other Pinocchio came out around the same time. It
Oh
wasn't the
yeah.
fact that the other Pinocchio from Disney was good. It was the fact that it was so bad that
Yeah, I
got
never
talked
saw
about
it.
more. Yeah.
That's interesting. I forgot that film existed.
Hmm.
I mean, I love the original Pinocchio
Mm,
that Disney did, but I never watched the remake one. Yeah, I've
wow.
forgotten all about that.
That'll do
Yeah.
it.
Del Toro is
Literally.
doing a animation school now for like stuff like he did in Pinocchio. I was reading the other week.
That's cool.
Very cool.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
what was the
Mm,
film he said the other day that he's desperate to make? Oh, I can't remember it. I can't remember what it is, but now. But I
Go
just
go.
want him. I want him and what is the guy's name who did Nosferatu?
Oh,
You
Oh
mean the
my god,
newest one? Sorry, I've just
Darren
gasped
Darren
because
Egger, Darren Egger,
maybe
Yeah?
Nosferatu 2024 was written and directed by oh Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggers. I
Yes.
just want him and Guillermo to do every single horror there is now. That's it.
Well, I gasped because the film that Guillermo del Toro really wants to adapt is The Phantom of the Opera. Holy
That's
crap!
the one. I just
I'm
couldn't
all over that.
remember. Yeah.
I would love that. Holy crap! Yeah, like a proper dramatic film, not necessarily a musical, I assume, with the
well,
Phantom story.
linking it back in with what you guys were talking about earlier. You know, if he's got this contract with Netflix and they're now linked with Warner Brothers, chance to see it in the
Oh,
cinema straight away.
see,
Um,
Frankenstein should have been like a full theatrical release.
I
It
know,
really should have been
I know,
that'd
so
because that
good.
movie's stunning. I've watched it 3 times now.
That's impressive.
I just love it. Right, so I've had
Go
this
on.
question in my head, like with Luke being an interviewer on stage. I want 3 dream interviews,
Good question.
Oh, difficult, man. It's
and then we're going
difficult.
to you, Dex, as well.
I'm on the spot here. I would love to speak to Adam Driver. I think he's an amazing actor. Star Wars even aside, everything I ever see him in, he plays like nuanced characters who are really complicated people. So I'd love to meet him. Someone else have a go and come back to me. I'm gonna think about
Okay.
this.
Say we'll do. Should we do one each,
Yeah,
and then we'll do
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we'll go along the line.
sure.
So Dex,
Give ourselves some time.
Okay.
yeah.
Mine, I'm going to start with a group of people, the Sony animation team, because I want to know how it is that they like, and it's not even that obvious to anyone who isn't an animator or who isn't really like super geeky about this stuff, but I want to know how they come up with the ideas to like animate certain characters on twos versus ones and what that means to the story and their characterization. Like,
Uh-huh.
how do you even think of that? Because as you're watching Spider-Verse, you're watching K-pop Demon Hunters, and there's like subconscious things in the animation that just like seep into your mind that you won't be necessarily aware of. And it's just so clever the way they meld that medium into their storytelling. So I just want to speak to all of them about it.
I'm not gonna go for the obvious ones. There's obvious ones that you would know from me, like obviously we just spoke about Guillermo,
Yep,
Charlie Cox, James Gunn,
yep.
John Cena. There's like all them, but I'll try and go a bit more off beaten path. So I'm gonna say my first one is Alex Ross,
Alex
the
Ross.
artist, because I think his art is stunning, but it is also so different to any
Hmm,
other comic artist. Like
that's
he's got his
true.
own style with the watercolors and that. And I just, yeah, every time I see a picture of his, it's just engrossing. I've got one up on the wall, literally outside, and it's such a simple one. It's 2 gargoyles, and in the middle is Batman's head, and it's the 3 of them like gargoyle, Batman,
I know
gargoyle,
which
and
one
it's
it is.
owning
Yeah.
the top, and it's raining, and it's so simple, but it's so effective.
Yeah, that's a really good
Like,
shout. A lot of his work like harkens back to a particular like time period. It feels like a period art piece, even though it isn't.
Hmm.
It's very cool. Yeah.
so think I now had a minute to think about it. I'm thinking that like I there's millions upon millions of actors and actresses and even artists like saying I would love to meet, right? And it's difficult to pick between them because everyone has, like I said, their interesting story. But when you said about like groups and things like that, it got me thinking. Because like a dream thing that I would like to do, a dream interview, would be to go to the Jim Henson Creature Workshop or to ILM
Yes,
and
he's
to
Oh
yes,
my
bro.
God.
But to go there to talk to them about how they make things, or why they use certain techniques, or what projects they've worked on, things like that. I think that that would be more fulfilling for me because like all the things I love have either puppets, practical effects, some form of animatronic or something like that,
sorry.
and they're the people that like did this stuff.
Troy's having a moment. We both love the Muppets, so we're right there with you.
Literally,
Firstly,
As you should.
if we weren't an hour and a half in, this would have
Yeah.
just gone off the rails again.
this would have just got we had a whole episode dedicated to the Muppets, and it went off the rails. So I'm glad we are here to rein us in. Luke, that's an
I
excellent shout, though.
I think that's yeah. Without picking out individuals, I would love to know more about like their process, more about how people got into their jobs there, about like what their challenges are. That stuff really, really interests me. And not that
Mhm.
people like don't, but I think it's harder to pick out between individual actors and artists and people like that. Whereas like what runs through everything I love is puppetry, Jim Henson, animatronics, practical effects.
Very, very cool. Solid shout. Uh, is it me again?
Thanks.
Actually, okay. I was gonna say Dwayne Johnson, but I'm not anymore, actually. I'm gonna say Dave Batista. And the reasoning is similar, but obviously they're both WWE wrestlers who became very
Uh-huh.
successful actors. The Rock is arguably, probably inarguably, the most famous WWE wrestler turned actor. But Dave
Uh-huh.
Batista is perhaps the most talented one at acting. Plus, he has a very interesting upbringing. Like The Rock's upbringing is fairly well known. He's written books about it and stuff. Dave Batista was at one point very poor, like living on the streets poor. He also has two mothers. His mothers are lesbians. He's also part Filipino. And there's a lot, I think, of that, his cultural heritage and his upbringing and his background that informs the type of person who he is and the type of experiences that lead to him being such a good actor. And I just want to delve into that as much as I can. I find him very cool.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one, actually. My next one, I don't think it even needs explaining as soon as I say the name. Christopher Lee.
Fair. Yeah, we can pick dead people. Obviously. Yeah, that one would be legit.
I don't even say any
No,
more.
you
The
don't.
guy is literally
Legendary
just,
status. Yep.
and the life he's
Yeah.
led, it was flipping
Oh
madness.
my God. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, this changes everything. No, I'm gonna stick with my same third answer. Come back to me. Luke.
I think if I had to pick another individual, then it would be Dave Filoni, who works at Lucasfilm.
Uh,
Just because he's worked on like animation that I've loved, he's now working on live action that I love, and what I see in him is like just a great broad stroke storyteller in the same way that like Lucas was. Okay, there's criticisms, valid criticisms, but the like sweeping broad story, the influences that he takes from things like Tolkien and stuff like that, they're all things that I love as well. I think I could have a really good conversation with him about his influences and about like the direction he's taken it in, and from taking something from animation to live action. I think that would be really cool.
Very cool. Good shout. Well, more than three people, but three solid shouts.
Yeah.
Genuinely. I have
Mm.
obviously more than three people, but yeah. Okay, my last one is probably a toss-up between two people for the same reason. Tom York of Radiohead
Oh,
or
nice.
Matt Bellamy of Muse, because they're both phenomenal songwriters, excellent musicians, and absolutely insane. I want to know what's going on in that brain to like come up with the sort of songs like all the entirety of OK Computer from Radiohead is one of the greatest like pieces of rock or even pop music in general to my mind. And then Muse are just change their sound so frequently that like there's so many influences they're all pulling from. I would love to interview either of them to just be like, what is happening up there? Talk to me about what you think about day to day.
That would be interesting.
And see, now I am slightly struggling. I don't want to think too much of it because I keep thinking of the thing. I'm going to come out with the one that was just straight in my head there.
Mm.
David Jason, Elephants and Horses,
Oh yeah, Del Boy,
Hellboy.
right? Yeah,
I've seen like interviews with him, and he's so fun. He's so open to talking and that. And I grew up with my dad watching Only Fools and Horses religiously. So yeah, I'm gonna have to probably have to. I mean, there's others. Obviously, everyone's got others.
Roy,
The
you got to
obvious
get
one
on
was
those
Christopher.
emails. You got to
Yeah,
get on those emails,
he
mate.
is
That's an achievable one. If you want to do it, I think that's an achievable
we
one.
can
really
get David
try.
Jason.
That
Holy
would be
shit,
insane.
that
I
would
mean,
be
the
crazy
other
actually.
obvious one for me, which is obviously impossible with us saying about the dead, is Christopher Reeve, isn't it?
Yeah, man,
It's
absolutely.
just like the guy is just everything.
Yeah, he
Like,
is
yeah,
was Superman in every
just
conceivable
watch
way.
that
Yeah.
documentary and that will explain
Mhm.
It's
everything
brilliant.
because that
Yeah.
documentary is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciated the rapid fire question though. That was great, Troy.
Mm.
I have one for you, Luke, as well.
Yeah.
Top three Star Wars media things. Anything. Doesn't have to be a film. Could be
Sure.
video game for whatever reason. Anything. TV show, whatever. Your favorite three Star Wars things.
Star Wars Rebels #1. Uh, just because it was so good. Um, I never expected it to be good. I was like 26, hiding away in my spare room, watching the Saturday morning cartoon for 20 minutes once a week, being like, I probably shouldn't be watching this. Oh wait, no, it's brilliant.
It's
I'm fine.
phenomenal. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I really like the Charles Soule Darth Vader comics. He does a
Ooh.
run where like it's like almost like year one of Vader. You know, like you have year one Batman. It's sort of a similar sort of vibe. What makes him him? Why he's so unable to escape the Emperor's grasp? All of the inner turmoil, which you see like sort of in the prequels, but going on in the suit.
Mm.
We're big Charles Soule fans, so yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to avoid the films, and I'll say there's a book by a chap called Adam Christopher called Shadow of the Sith. Actually, I'm going to do a duel. I'm going to do a duel because it's essentially the same reason, but he does this fantastic book called Shadow of the Sith, and again, it has a great moment where like it's flickering between Anakin and Vader, like a Force Ghost sort of thing, and then when they replicated that same thing in Ahsoka, that was just like crazy to me because I loved the book so much, and that they'd taken the same
Mm.
sort of effect and then put it straight on the screen. It's just like
I didn't
perfect.
realize that came from a book, or that had
Yeah, yeah.
inspiration from a book. That's cool.
So well, literally, dude, like the flashing between one to the other, and I think where they're going with the whole story thing about like he's not really this, he's not really that, he's caught in between. It's taken directly from the Shadow of the Sith book where Anakin appears. So yeah,
That's
if you
pretty
want
cool.
any hints as to where
Nice.
that potentially is going, read that chapter of that book.
That's pretty cool. Okay. Good
Same for
shouts.
you then, Dex. If you're gonna have to answer that now as well.
Shit. Star Wars specifically. Okay, fine. I'm gonna be a real basic bitch about this because I haven't read any of the books or the comics for Star Wars. I've only played the games and I've
Uh-huh.
only watched the films.
I'm the same. So I'm the same.
Okay, fine.
It's all
So,
valid. It's
in
all
no
valid.
particular order, because I can't, well, I probably could if I really wanted to, but Empire Strikes Back was
Uh-huh.
for me. Like, I really enjoyed A New Hope. It was a fun romp, and then Empire Strikes Back is when shit hits the fan, and then you go, okay, there is peril here. There's proper, like, the stakes are bigger than ever, and I was, at that point, so invested in the plight of these rebels, and, like, you really understand just the vastness of the evil that is the Empire, you know. I loved it. It was just perfect tonally. Um, Again, characterization. Each of them came into their own, I think, from that film onwards. And yeah, love Empire Strikes Back. I am going to. This is a wild one. The campaign mode of Star Wars Battlefront 2, the remake.
So
Very good.
Yep,
Very
it's
good, bro.
very good. The story is incredible. You play as, well, this is revealed pretty quickly. You are a Sith pilot. And I think not even a pilot, you're like a high-ranking commander in the Sith fleet. And it's a first-person shooter plus elements of, like, obviously piloting. But then the story takes a turn that you might not expect, and it's about this person.
Iden Versio.
Yes, that is something
Where the
Versio,
hell did I
yeah.
put where the that from?
Yes. If it's not that, it's something very similar. So yeah,
No, it is that. It is that. Yeah.
yeah, and the way that she discovers that maybe everything she knows is propaganda and her whole life has been a lie is incredible. And then the last Star Wars thing that I really like is no, okay, this isn't. I mean, the whole game is pretty good, but again, a video game, there is a moment. The third thing I'm going to say is a specific moment in this video game. Star Wars, the first Jedi Fallen Order game, where you first encounter Darth Vader
Oh yeah.
is a phenomenal.
Mm.
You feel
Scary, bro.
fear. Oh, it's
Yeah.
terrifying. You are
Yeah.
powerless against this god like deity, and you've been up until it's like near the end. You're up until that point, just like bossing at this, and it's a hard game already. So you already feel these accomplishments, kicking the asses of all these bosses, and then this unstoppable force comes before you. You can do nothing. You have to run, and the way
Mhm.
cinematically that they frame that in the game is brilliant. So
And
that
the scrambling,
Mhm.
dude, of Cameron Monaghan, the way like he's desperately pouring, like
Yes.
I love it.
yes,
Running.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's mine. Yes, I'm gonna stick with them. Troy.
Well, you got Troy.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars,
Yeah, legit.
specifically the final 4 episodes, I
Very
think
good.
are heartbreaking as well. The final scene of where she's just stood there and there's all the graves. I mean, Rex
Yeah.
is my favorite Star Wars character. I adore Captain Rex. I'm just hoping that at some point we see him again. I really, really want to see Rex again at some point. For me, my favorite Star Wars game of any, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
Fair.
That was fun.
That
It was
was
a lot
fun.
of fun.
Love that first game. The destruction in that is like nothing we've seen in Star. That fight with Vader at the end is brutal. That one sticks in my head, and also, is it Ron Cota? Is that one of the characters' name? And you're in the cockpit, the fight of the flight room of a galactic cruiser, fighting him while it's crashing.
That's fucking cool. Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
It's insane,
Yeah.
and it's making me want to play it again right now.
I
Star Killer
think it's
should
on
be in
Game
more
Pass.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think as much as I love all the films and everything, like as a kid, the biggest thing that stood out to me is like, oh my god, this is utterly awesome. I'm gonna have to go with the Mustafar fight.
Episode 3. Yeah.
Just as a kid was like,
Hmm.
and I could still just stick that on and watch just that fight because
Yeah.
that fight is just choreographed so well, shot
Yeah.
really well, and just so entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
think.
was such an underappreciator of that, and because I never saw that one in the cinema until like last year or this year when they re-released it, and then I watched that film in the cinema, and I was like, oh wait, no, I love this film.
It's
I
actually
had
really
no
good.
idea
Mhm.
like how good it was until I saw it in the cinema.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's the best of the prequels, in my opinion. Like
100%.
I know you say a little, like
100%.
for
Yeah.
me, it's the best of the prequels.
It is a genuinely good film. I will stand by that.
It's
Star
just a
Wars
so
Episode 3 is
there
pretty
is
good.
such a tonal shift in the middle of that movie, and I
Hmm.
love it. Like
It makes
it
sense as
goes
well,
so
Brothers, that you
dark.
love it. It makes sense you love it so much because what you said about the Clone Wars, those episodes of the Clone Wars and that film like
You
run
can watch them
That's
simultaneously.
a
together.
really good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
You interweave them within the beats of each other. Yeah, that's a really good
yeah,
point. Yeah.
Literally, there is moments in those final four episodes where it's like
yeah,
someone turns comm off, and literally you see that comm turn off in the actual movie. You just don't see who it
yeah.
was, and you can literally just go from that straight into that scene
I
because
love
that
that.
scene is literally there.
That's insanely cool. My
So
fun fact about Episode 3 is that my friends and I ditched school to go watch it in the cinema, and in the queue for the tickets was our English teacher who also ditched school.
No.
oh my god, did
It
they
was
dog you
great.
in?
Huh? No, he was like,
They
we
dog
were
you
like,
in.
and he was like, and he went. So it was all legit.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice,
Class.
like that.
yeah. Ugh. Well,
That's fantastic.
yeah, it was fun. Um. Okay. Well, I mean, we've been going a while. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted
That's
to
a
talk about,
pod.
Luke, or if
I'm all good, bro. Like
cool.
whatever's fine with me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, once
That's a
again, from
pod.
that's a pud. But this is a new thing. We've
Yeah.
just started it just now. That's a pud. Um, so we appreciate you coming, genuinely.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you, man, for having me. I appreciate it.
I was gonna say literally any time. Like
Very
if you,
welcome.
if you wanted to come back on, we'd happily have you. So,
Awesome. Thank you so
oh,
much.
of
That's really
course,
nice of you.
no,
I
of
know
course,
you.
yeah, it's great chat.
We
And you
just
have
talk nerdy stuff and have fun, and yeah, the thing I
Yeah.
could keep bringing up, we decide that Jeff Goldblum is Chris Eubank.
Jeff Goldblum as Chris
Jeff
Eubank.
Goldblum is. You have to explain that one.
We
Listen to
we
the
will
Muppet
explain
episode,
this.
Luke.
We will
Listen to the Muppet
Okay,
episode
where
well,
we
it's a
lost our
Muppet episode.
minds.
I'm going back.
where we lost our minds. Neither of us were drunk. Neither of us had drunk anything. I think we were sleep deprived and we just went insane. Either that or we both got a gas leak in our rooms. Just
Either is plausible at this point.
yeah.
Okay,
But
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it, I think.
it was insane. But yeah, genuinely, it's been a good chat, and you have really great insights, and we're very happy to have you. And like
Thanks,
the
man.
running theme that I'm taking away. I do this every time we have a special guest. I take away a special like thing that I've particularly enjoyed. And today, the theme for me, much like a Sesame Street episode, you find your people, and
Oh,
everyone is. Oh,
I remember it.
oh no, Troy's
I'm
having
really sorry to interrupt. You've just sprung my memory. Have you seen that they've put Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc as a Sesame Street character?
what?
I did see that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
It's
hilarious.
amazing. I can't remember what they've called him. They've called him something amazing. Hang
I
on.
hope he has a
Sorry, continue,
phenomenal
Dex.
Southern accent. No, all I was gonna say is that yeah, I think life is about finding your people and the people you connect with, and you can
Yeah.
just talk to because if nothing else, the shared interests will both carry you through. Hey, we've really enjoyed having you on to just
Thank
talk
you.
about stuff you love.
No, it's been
This
great,
is
man.
stuff we love. So.
Yeah, and I was glad I didn't see you at Birmingham, bro.
I can't. I genuinely couldn't believe it. I mean, Troy knows this a bit. I was having a bit of a hard time on Friday and Sunday. This is a
Oh,
this is a
sorry about
conversation for offline. So listeners, you'll have to speak
that.
to me about this in person. Saturday, an amazing time, especially at the Hilton afterwards, as we usually do. But yeah, like it was such a big con, and like everything felt so busy, and there was so many people
Yeah.
to run into, including yourself, that I was like, oh my God, how did this happen? How did I
It's
see
funny because
like
like it's a smaller con, but it felt to me way bigger. It was the first time
Oh,
I'd ever done an
huge.
MCU in Birmingham.
yeah? Oh right,
And
yeah.
that stage was sick. That
That stage was
stage
really
was
cool.
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that new setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next time,
Right.
we will always, yes, we will. I say that a lot. We will make plans.
Yeah.
That's better rather than I'll see you next, and I will make plans. Troy,
Right. Before you do the sign off, because this has just got even better because I didn't realize it was this. So it's a short film called Forks Out, and it involves Detective Beignet Blanc, and it's to figure out who ate the Cookie Monster's trickleberry pie.
phenomenal.
And I literally am going to go to bed and stick this on YouTube right now and watch it.
Why the hell not?
Why not,
Yep.
bro?
I'm very excited for the next Knives Out
Sign.
iteration. I love the Ryan Johnson Knives Out films, so I think they're great.
So when
I
you're
still need to
watching that,
cosplay the new
will
Benoit.
be watching your Muppet episode so I can find out about this Chris Eubank thing.
Yeah. Yep. I can't even, I wouldn't even be able to tell you a timestamp, but you can see and
Oh no,
hear
I'm gonna
the
listen to the whole thing. It's
moment.
Muppets. It's Muppets. I mean,
Perfect. Perfect.
We'll give you the rundown of what we did anyway, quickly. We did an episode on casting the Muppets in different franchises. So if the Muppets did the
oh,
MCU.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh, we should have asked next time. We're going to talk more about the Muppets. We're going to have a separate Muppets episode
Sure.
when the new thing
Mhm.
releases, and then we're going to get you back
Mhm.
on and start thinking about which Muppets you would cast as Star Wars characters and which human character you would leave as a human.
I love that when people are like one human character but the same film and everyone else is Muppets.
Yep.
Like, because it's such a great formula.
It
Yeah.
works every time.
You'll find
Muppet
out.
Treasure
You will
Island,
find
Muppet
out.
Christmas Carol. Yep.
Okay.
But yes. Thank you for listening, people, if you still are listening at this point. We have been Podcast Pop Cultured. On Instagram, we are Podcast Pop Cultured, and on TikTok, we are pop.cultured.pod. Once again, joined by Luke at I Like That Wookie. Is that on all socials, Luke? And which socials do
It
you
is, mate.
have?
Yeah, uniform across the board.
Phenomenal. Excellent. Please follow Luke on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere I Like That Wookie can be found. We are Dexter's Cosplay and Captain Tempest, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.